The night that changed everything. Meline, narrating. If one night can rewrite the rest of your life, this is the night I wish I could erase. Hi, I'm Meline Mattie Carter. Before I tell you everything that happened, thank you for being here. If you like true confessional stories, subscribe and stick around. Your comments keep me honest. Now, one night changed my life forever. Ethan Riley was the kind of husband people envied without even knowing why. Tall in a way that made doorways seem smaller. Steady hands that could fix anything. The kind of laugh that filled a room and left everyone lighter. He kissed my forehead every morning, brought me coffee on slow Sundays, never missed an anniversary, and smelled like home. From the outside, we were the picture of a marriage that had weathered 12 years with grace. From the inside, I was quietly hollow, and I didn't know how to tell him without shattering him. The reunion felt harmless at first. A rooftop bar in downtown Atlanta, with string lights, live jazz, and memories waiting to be dusted off. Ethan was in New York for investors. He hugged me, said have fun, and left me feeling safe in a way that made me ashamed for the rest of the night. Old friends arrived, laughter reopened old wounds. And in a crowd that smelled like perfume and nostalgia, I ran into Logan Hale, my high school songwriting, heart-stealing mistake. He was older, broader, a little sad around the eyes, but that grin still carried trouble like it was a language. The flirtation was gentle at first. Shared jokes. Remembered secrets. His hand found my waist like it had never forgotten the way. I should have left. I didn't. One hotel room, one terrible choice. Not a love story, just a night that felt like being swallowed and then spat out. When I woke, guilt hit like a physical force. I burned the clothes. I cried until my chest ached. I told myself it would stay buried, a shameful secret that would rot in silence. But secrets are living things. They breathe. They leak. And sometimes, they come knocking. The messages. Sound, phone buzzes. The faint click of a message being opened. 3 days later, a message arrived. You're not as good at hiding things as you think. Attached were photos, me and Logan in the elevator. Blurry, but devastating. My hands went cold. Then another message, you'll do exactly what I say, or your perfect husband sees it all. Blackmail began as a whisper and grew into a chain around my throat. At first, the demands were small. Withdraw cash. Cancel plans. Delete pictures. I obeyed because fear tastes like the only medicine that works. I shrank. I stopped sleeping. Ethan noticed. He asked if I was okay. I lied, said I was stressed about work, about deadlines, about nothing. But fear has a smell, and he started to sense it. Then came the message that broke something in me, meet me Saturday night. No phone. Wear something pretty. I thought about the police. But how do you walk into a station and confess, I cheated on my husband, and now someone's blackmailing me? It felt impossible. Shame has its own handcuffs. So I went. A dark parking lot behind a coffee shop, rain tapping on the windshield, my pulse louder than the storm. The car that pulled up was familiar. When the window rolled down, my blood ran cold. Ryan Whitman. Our neighbor. The one who mowed our lawn when Ethan traveled. Who smiled too easily and once carried me inside when I'd had too much wine at the block party. I knew him. I did not know this version of him, calm, dangerous, eyes glinting like he'd already won. You're not very good at hiding things, he said. Ryan didn't want money. He wanted ownership. Control. Closeness. Proof that he could make me obey. That night wasn't about desire or guilt anymore. It was about survival, and survival makes cowards of all of us. The hunter. Sound, ticking clock. Keyboard clicks. Whispered voice messages. Low suspense hum. Ryan's control tightened, day by day. He had cameras. Files. A flash drive with footage that made my face burn just thinking about it. He whispered threats about Ethan, about our son, about how fragile reputations could be. I started losing weight. Sleep fled. I watched myself become a ghost. And one night, Ethan looked at me across the dinner table, really looked, and asked with the gentlest voice, "Are you still in love with me?" It was a kindness that sliced me open. I lied. I said, "I'm just tired." He kissed my forehead and promised to carry whatever weight I couldn't. And that promise, that mercy, shredded me more than his anger ever could have. But something in me shifted. I realized fear only works if it keeps you still. And I was done being still. I started small, learning, listening. Ryan liked control, but he liked talking even more. Between his threats, he'd brag about women who couldn't resist, about mistakes that cost people everything. And I listened. I found his weakness, arrogance. Quietly, I reached out to Carla, an old college friend who worked in digital forensics. I told her part of the truth, enough to make her help, not enough to make her pity me. We examined the flash drive I'd managed to steal for one night. What we found was worse than I imagined. Ryan had done this before. Not once, not twice, but over and over. Dozens of women. Hidden cameras in hotel rooms. Conversations, edited neatly into folders. A hunter, cataloging trophies. He wasn't a man scorned. He was a system. That realization changed everything. I stopped replying to his messages. I let his arrogance make him sloppy. He came to our neighborhood barbecue one weekend, smiling, drunk, smug, and I smiled back. Because by then, I'd already sent the files. Anonymous packages to HR at his job. To an ex-wife I'd tracked down in Nashville. To a woman in the footage who didn't even know she'd been filmed. By the time Ryan realized, it was too late. He was fired within the week. His family packed up and left town in the middle of the night. The neighborhood whispered, but no one knew the whole story. I'd won. Or at least, I thought I had. The cost. Sound, faint morning birds. A door closing softly. Empty room echo. Weeks later, Ethan found a buried text on my iPad. A message I'd missed deleting. He read, and then he left. For 3 days, the house was silent in a way that no sound could fill. Even the walls seemed to hold their breath. On the 4th morning, he came back. His face looked 10 years older. He said he believed I'd been threatened, that he thought I'd been used, but he couldn't unknow the betrayal. He needed space. He packed a bag and went to his brother's. I didn't stop him. There's a kind of love that knows when not to beg. Now, I sit on our porch and watch the neighborhood go on as if nothing monumental ever happened. Lawnmowers hum. Kids shout across the street. Life keeps moving while mine holds echoes. People tell you infidelity destroys marriages. What they don't tell you is that sometimes it also saves you, just not in the way you wanted. Because surviving Ryan taught me something terrible and true, fear doesn't disappear. It just changes names. Even now, every time my phone buzzes, my heart flinches. Every ping feels like a ghost tapping on the glass of a life I almost lost. Ethan calls sometimes. We talk about our son. About schedules. About things that sound normal if you don't listen too closely. He hasn't filed for divorce. Not yet. And I don't ask why. Some nights, when I can't sleep, I replay the sound of his laugh, the one that used to fill the house. And I wonder if there's a version of me in another universe who didn't go to that reunion. Who didn't make that choice. Who still gets Sunday coffee kisses and the peace of being trusted. If one night can rewrite the rest of your life, this was mine. I tell myself I won, that I protected my family, that I stopped a predator. But the empty space beside me says otherwise. What I really learned is this: secrets breathe. And sometimes, they come back for blood. Music fades out. A beat of silence. Meline, softly, thank you for listening. If you ever think one mistake can be contained, remember me.